very good afternoon and welcome to the Czech Republic. Nove Mesto, Nove hosting the Biathlon World Championships for 2013. And we're just waiting for the start of the very first event, the mixed relay. A day off tomorrow means that all the big names have entered today. And this is an event that is being taken far more seriously than in the past. And certainly all the teams are after this gold medal. Mike Dixon alongside myself, Patrick Winterton, will be with you throughout the championships here in the Czech Republic, and hopefully we'll get plenty of opportunity to chat to some of the athletes out there. Well, let's have a look at the schedule. Mike, a little bit unusual to have a day off on day 2 of the championships, but it's all about getting the top seeds into the mixed relay itself.
That's the way they're planning it. Bring the best names into this one today, rest them tomorrow, then ready for the sprint on Saturday.
Well, there you see the schedule, and due off any moment now. We start at 5:30 local time, of course. The sprints in 2 days' time, with the pursuits following them as always, and we'll run all the way through. We'll have every race live here on Eurosport. Should be a fantastic championships. Plenty of opportunity. I think the relays may turn out to be the highlight of the championships, because they've been very difficult to predict this year, with so many teams much stronger in depth than they've been in the past, and some of those who've been dominant are struggling a little bit. Germany certainly, as far as their strength in depth goes, and I guess you could say the same for the Norwegian women in particular. Well, we'll finish off the championships with the mass starts. That's without a doubt is the highlight. And of course, with a number of big names like Vincent Gay and Mickey Grice retiring earlier on this season, that's given us an opportunity to bring them on board. So we'll be hearing from the likes of Mickey Grice certainly throughout the championships, and Vincent Gay working in the French commentary box tonight. So I guess the first thing we should do is have a chat with Mickey and just find out exactly what the mixed relay means.
Also ich muss ja dazu sagen, bei uns anfangs war das ja noch nicht ganz so akzeptiert, 2008, wo
What he's saying is when he won the mixed relay title in 2008 with Andy Birnbacher and Magdalena Neuner, Sabrina Buchholz in the team as well. He said the race wasn't really respected, didn't mean as much as it does today. Now it has the same standing as all the other events, and he says that's got to be a good thing. Says nobody wants to miss out on the mixed relay now, and of course with it being part of the Olympic program next year for the very first time, there's going to be tough competition to gain the places in the mixed relay, and it's all about the strength in depth of the teams, as we've already mentioned. He says that Germany may be leading the Nations Cup, but even they don't have 4 really world-class women at the moment, but just about all the teams in the top tier have 2 strong women and 2 strong men, and therefore that makes the mixed relay very even indeed, very difficult to predict, and because of that it's now a very exciting race.
Aber es wird bestimmt ein toller Auftakt und ist der beste Test auch für den Sportler selber, dass sagt,
he's saying it's an ideal test at this stage of the championships to get it underway. It's a good test of the athletes, a good chance for the spectators and the media to see what sort of form all the athletes are in after 2 weeks out and about after the World Cup in Antolz. And so that's nice to see, actually, Mike. If someone of Mickey Grice's status is saying the mixed relay really is equal to all the other events, I think it's finally landed.
I think it has, and he's really passionate about this race. He was involved many times with gold, a silver at the World Championships, and as he said, 5 years ago maybe the best players didn't go into this one, and now absolutely the teams are fielding the strongest athletes possible.
Well, the fans are all in place and the stadium absolutely packed. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more interviews. Welcome back to Nove Mesto. We're still waiting for the start of the first event of these 2013 Biathlon World Championships. We've heard from Mickey Grice already. I think it's only right that we should hear from the world #1, who is, of course, Martin Fourcade. Here he is. He says, for sure, we need to get these World Championships underway. I think he's been a little bit frustrated by the fact that it's been 2 full weeks, 17 days, in fact, since the last World Cup in Antholz. He, of course, took 3 golds, as he says, in Ruhpolding last year. That was a brilliant championships. He's not expecting to be able to repeat the same here, although everyone else is saying it's on the cards. He might even get 4 or 5. Martin has said, I want 1 gold. That will keep me happy. Well, when the season started, he said he wanted to be, he said that being world number 1, winning the overall World Cup was not his target, but now is the situation the same? He says, well, as the season's gone on, my priorities have changed somewhat. He says he cannot avoid being competitive when it comes to the overall World Cup and wearing that yellow bib. And he's got tied up in this battle with Emil Hegler-Svensson, and of course, Martin Fourcade is coming off best at the moment. His real priority is to have fun and get himself prepared for next year in the Olympic Games. But if you're having fun, you're enjoying what you're doing, things tend to go well. And certainly this season it's been pretty good, although he did look a little tired in Antholz.
He did. He needed the break, and of course he did go home after Antholz for 6 days, and then the French team met up again. So I think the rest of the world, and certainly in the men's biathlon, will be watching him as the one to beat. 3 golds last year. It's a very difficult situation to try and win 3 or even 4 again this year, but he is so good, maybe he can do it.
We'll see. We'll see. Luck will have to be on his side. It's a tricky stadium here in Nove Mesto, and although the wind conditions are very kind at the moment, absolutely no movement in the flags behind the range area, behind the targets, and I think that will keep a few of the athletes very happy indeed. But Mike, it's a little bit like Pachuca. You've got this stadium built in the woods, but where the roads come in the woods, there's a channel, an avenue for the wind, and the wind doesn't really take normal forms. It can switch direction in a split second and come down one of the other rides that feed into the range area. So very difficult, and a lot of people are concerned about that.
They are, and I know there was a run out here last year, and the European champs have been held here as well, but the athletes have had the least feel for the wind conditions on this range, and that is important. It really is. A lot of the venues we go to are regular annual venues. This is not.
Yeah, it was, of course, a venue for a World Cup last year. We've seen the European Championships held here in Nove Mesto as part of the preparation for hosting the World Championships. I must say, it's one of the most spectacular stadiums we go to. We're positioned, we must be 50 metres up above the stadium area. Absolutely spectacular view that we've got tonight. Hopefully we won't miss any of the action. The women, of course, going first in the mixed relay, but before they get underway, let's just have a chat with the head coach of the French team, Siegfried Mazet, and see what he thinks about the stadium here in Nove Mesto.
Pour le pas de tir, c'est assez ouvert en fait. Ici, il n'y a pas beaucoup de montagnes autour de nous, donc ce qui fait qu'il y a beaucoup d'entrées d'air. Là, on a vu il y a 2 jours que le vent il peut passer dans un sens et puis la seconde d'après passer dans l'autre. Donc la clé au niveau du tir sera là dans la capacité.
And he speaks also about the channels in the wood that allow the wind to enter the range area. And he says the key to gold here is going to be able to manage the change in wind direction when you come into suit, being able to notice that. Martin Fourcade, of course, one of his charges, his last win in Ruhpolding. Is that a concern for the French? No, he says he's the defending champion for the sprint, the pursuit, the mass start. And last year he got a 2nd and a 3rd here in Nove Mesto when they raced in very difficult conditions in the World Cup. And Siegfried saying he knows that Martin Fourcade wants to win every single race that he enters, and don't put it past him. He is a phenomenal talent. Well, he also says the French like the tracks, and if the French like the tracks, then I guess everyone will enjoy the tracks. They look very good condition, Mike. There's not a lot of natural snow around at the moment. The air temperature -3, that's perfect. It was -6 first thing this morning. It got as warm as -1. That was around 2 o'clock this afternoon, and now the temperature starting to drop away again. And we may well find we get down to around -6, -7, but that's not cold enough to make the track slow.
No, it's not. And the 28 snow cannons they bought in to make sure the snow was here, and that's exactly what they have. Well, this is the women's 2-kilometre track, and they go around that 3 times. And then the men's 7.5 kilometres, so it's 2.5 kilometres each time around. That little bit extra there for the men. And the track, well, the athletes are saying there's no major steep hills like, say, Ruhpolding, but you've got very gradual and steady climbs, fast descents in places.
And the snow conditions, it is very different when it's artificial snow. I'm not sure you can pick it up on your screens at home, but the texture of the snow looks very different. The actual sound of the snow is different when they ski past you, Mike. And it all seems very, very soft, but certainly when we were watching them training this morning, their glide is good. I don't think there are going to be any really technical problems on the way round. And I hope tonight that no team makes a terrible mistake with the waxing and hence rules them out of success in that way. Well, it's a big field, a very big field, 27 teams in all, and the favourites all wearing the high numbers, 1, 2, 3. That's Russia, Norway and the Czech Republic. Team number 9, of course, Switzerland with Elise Gasparin is getting them underway. Ukraine next to them. Now the Ukrainians 10th in the only mixed relay they've had so far this year. What about the Swedes? They've had a fantastic record in this mixed relay, but with the retirement of their top women, I think they're going to struggle.
Yes, I think they are, but Jenny Jonsson is back and she's the best shot in the world at 95% on average, but she hasn't been well. Had some problems after the Hochfilzen World Cup. Italy, we can't write them off as well. And Slovenia, well, they created the little surprise, I suppose, of Ruhpolding last year, finishing 2nd place. Can they do it again?
Team number 5, that's the French. Certainly for some, they are the favourites, but Brunet and Duran, the 2 women, have got to show a little bit more ski speed than we've seen from them so far this season. A new suit for the French. Some will like it, some won't. It will take a little bit of getting used to. Germany will never rule them out. I think they've got more medals than anyone else in this particular event. Henkel, Gusner, Schempen, Bernbacher. It's a strong team, and the host nation are full of optimism here today. Vitkova, Sukolova, Sukup and Moravec. They are a very talented team, but they're going to have to go some to beat the Norwegians. Tora Berger, the world number 1, starts it off for them. Sulumdal, Boe and Svensson. No Oleine Bjorndalen in the Norwegian lineup tonight. Terje Boe is the man who has taken Bjorndalen's place. So the countdown has started